Hello ladies, I am here today to show you how to make a box for the cards that we just recently made for the second Shabby Chic Christmas card class for this year using the Maya Design Holiday in the Alps paper. Okay, so because of Shabby Chic things, they are very thick with everything that you put on them. They are not going to fit in an envelope. Plus, these cards are an old traditional European size, which is smaller than what we're used to. And they measure, they measure 3.5 inches wide by 6 inches high. So it's a little different than what we're used to. They make more our size cards now, but occasionally you'll still find those cards. And I wanted to show you that if you're making a flat one that's not a thick Shabby Chic one, they do have the measurement on the envelope punch board. So for the card size, over here it is, 3.5 by 6. And then you can make an envelope for there if you're just using your excuse me, if you're just making a pretty flat kind of a card. But that still won't work for us even though the size is there. So I've come up with a box. It's one that I've made several years ago, but I had to adjust the size. Excuse me, I just ate something and I keep getting this scratchiness in my throat. Hopefully that'll work. So to make this box, you are going to need 2 pieces of cardstock. And I already made the bottom to coincide. I used the color that we did for the base of our cards, the card bases. But I went ahead and made the bottom, completely forgetting that I was doing this tutorial. So the bottom's already made. So I cut off another piece of paper and made it a different color so that you can see the difference. Now for the lid, you're going to need a piece that's 10 5/8 inches wide by 3 3/4 inches high. Okay, and we will score that last. And then for the base of the box, this one here, you need a piece that is 10.5 inches wide by 7 1/4 inches high. Okay, so to begin this one, you take your scoreboard, or you can use your paper trimmer if that is what you have, and you're going to score it at, just let me get the numbers closer here. Okay, you're going to score it at 1.5. Oh, sorry, 1 1/4. I was going to say that looks wider than I made it the first time. So 1 1/4. Then you're going to score at 5, which is here. Okay. And then you're going to score at 6 1/4. And then your final score will be a 10. And you have 1/2 inch left over. Oops. So you have 1/2 inch left over, and that is the tab we will use to put the box together with. Once you've got this done, then you're going to turn it around. And for the bottom of the box, you're going to score again at 1 1/4. Okay. And that's it. That's all you need for the bottom. Then for doing this job, I like to take my scissors and I cut on either side of the score line. Oh, that one gets cut off, sorry. Either side of the score line, but except for this case here where you're just getting rid of this. Okay, that's because normally I start from the other side. And I go at a very slight angle on either side. Makes it easier when you're putting it together. Then you just, didn't cut all the way to the score line. doesn't seem to be my day here. Okay. And you rip it off. Okay, and then you're going to do that at the bottom here of all the rest of the score lines. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to fold all of the fold lines with your bone folder, and you're always going to fold towards the inside of the box. There we go. And then, of course, this way. And what I'm going to do after this is I'm going to turn the video camera off, and I'm going to put double-sided adhesive tape on all the places that we needed, and then I'll start the video again and show you where you need to put it for both sides. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and this is the outside of the box. You can see the folds are all going towards the inside, and you're going to put double-sided adhesive on the tab and on these bottom tabs here on the outside of the box. Then when you flip it over on the inside of the box, the side that has the tab, you're going to put some double-sided adhesive tape on the bottom flap here. And how you're going to start is you're going to take off the backing with putting the box together first. All right. And some people like to just sort of fold, well, anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm going to just show you how I do it. I like to start at the top because you want the edges to match up, right? And what I like to do is when you have a box that has a lid to it, I like to put the edge where we join it just a little, like halfway through that folded score line, just to make it the tiniest bit smaller. But then we have to make the lid a tiny bit bigger. That's why we had that extra 1/8 inch. Okay, and the join is right here, and I always like to have that at the back, so when the person opens up their box, you don't see the seams here. So now we're going to take it this way, and we have the two long flaps here, and the two little tabs, and these are the little ones we're going to do first. So take the backing off. And put those in like this, and then the side that has no adhesive on is the one that goes down next, and you want to make sure that it's square because you can mess it up. This is the point where if the box isn't square, it's because this is the part that got messed up. And then I take my bone folder and I go inside and I just put a little pressure. Oops, the tab didn't go down, so my boy, that's strong tape. My bone folder is attached to the tape now. Okay, push that down. There we go. And press that down. So all we have left now is this last final tab here. And I do not recommend using glue on making a box unless you are very sparing with the glue, because if you have too much, it'll warp the sides or the bottom or top or whatever of your box. So I like doing it with double-sided score tape. So there, that's how the bottom of the box was done. Okay, I'm back, ladies, and I kind of messed up that first lid that I was working on. There ended up being way too many score lines, and it turns out it needed to be a little bit longer. So ignore the measurement at the very beginning of the video. Okay, so this is what the measurement needs to be, and I will have the video towards the bottom of the video, and I'll also have it on my blog. I'll have the correct measurements. So ignore that first measurement. And I realized also that I may have had the measurements upside down, so I did it the other way around, and if it's correct, it's the right way so you can see it better, and if it's wrong, now it's upside down. But there's a little bit of a trick to measuring something that needs to be ever so slightly larger than the box that you are making the lid for. If you make it exactly the same size, it's going to be a very, very tight fit, and your cardboard's going to kind of bend like this a little bit, your cardstock, okay? And we don't want that. And we also don't want the lid to like just easily fly off. So this is how you are going to avoid that. So what I do is I like to have, because we're going to be sliding it this way, in this direction to the left here, I like to make a mark at 1/2 inch. And I usually leave this mark here, but these ones, you can scrub them off with Comet. It comes off not super easily, but it doesn't require a lot of work either. Just be careful you don't scrub the numbers that are already on there off, but that comes off pretty easy. So this mark lines up with the edge of the paper, sort of. Did I not cut this one? 10 3/4. Yeah, I did. I just marked it incorrectly. So we're going to do our scoring now, okay? So starting from our very, very first score line, we're going to move the paper. And ladies, brace yourselves. You're going to be working with 16 inches. Now, some of you that have taken classes with me before will be chuckling a little bit. It was not a favorite in some of our classes. And at one point, I remember having shared this story with you, and I'll share it as quickly as I can. I don't want to make this video too long. But the first time we did 1/16 of an inch, no, not too many people were happy. We worked around it and eventually got it all figured out. The next time, I told everybody at the beginning of the class, we'll be working with 16 inches. And some of them laughed. And the reason being, I told a story of my youngest daughter, and she had messaged me, excuse me, or called me. I guess I've been doing a lot of talking. Called me and said, Mom, when I had to go to work this morning, I was so disappointed. It's a little early in the year to have to scrape ice off the windshield. I had to scrape off 1/16 of an inch of ice on my windshield. And some of the ladies were chuckling. And one of the other ladies said, well, did you teach her that? And I said, no, she's a welder by trade, and she knows measurements very well. So we had a good chuckle with that. Anyway, so let's get back to this here. So we're at that 1/2 inch mark line that we made. And to do 1/16 of an inch, it is 1/2 of an 1/8 inch. Okay, so we have 1/8 inch score lines. So it's halfway in between the score lines. So you move it over, and then you're going to score at, oh, I didn't do that correctly, at 1 3/4, I believe it is. Yes, 1 3/4. I threw away the other paper. Yes, there we go. 1 3/4 is correct. So 1 3/4, we're going to score there. Then we're going to move it the rest of that 1/8 inch so that it lines up with the next score line. Okay, so that's 1/16 of an inch, and you'll notice that your score line is right here in between the two, so that's your 1/16 inch there. So next we're going to score at 5 3/8. Okay, so it's a little white line past the quarter, and you're going to score there. Then you're going to move it 1 more 1/16 of an inch, so you're halfway between the grooves and the measurement lines. And we're going to score at 6 3/4. Okay, and then we're going to move it for the last time right up to that score line so that you're at the 1/4 inch mark. And then you're going to score at 10 1/2, I believe it is. Yes, 10 1/2 over here. So you can see that you are left with a 1/2 inch for the tab that we need to put the lid together. Then we're going to turn it, and we're going to have it flush against the side again. We don't have to worry about sliding or anything for this. And to create the top of the box, and we are going to score at 1 1/4 inch. Okay, we're all set here, and you're going to do exactly the same thing with the cutting as we did with the bottom of the box. So I am just going to stop the video because you've done this with the bottom of the box. And if you can't remember, you can rewind the video to that part, and I'll join you again shortly. Okay, ladies, I'm back. It was my dad on the phone, so I worry about him a lot, but he says he's doing fine. I'm sure he's kind of lonely, but especially with this COVID thing. Anyway, back to our project. We were putting on adhesive tape, and did I bring it to the phone? I did. Just one moment while I go get it. I guess I had it in my hand and just went to get the phone quickly. So I put it on either edge. Sometimes the ribbon has a wrong and right side, and I like the side where on this ribbon that copper thread iridescent kind of shows through more than it does on the back side. So, and there we go. Put it on there. And I don't think I need some in the middle. Sometimes if the ribbon is wider, you might want to put a piece in the middle. And you notice that I left my marker on here because that will help me find the center. So this is the center here on the straight side of the purple tape. So I'm going to take off the backing. Okay. And I have the box here. And I'm going to want to make sure I get it centered. I guess I could use my Tim Holtz ruler that has that 0 mark, which is great. But this works too. Alright, so I have my center marked. And I am going to, now if I can see it. There it is, okay. And put it down like this. And then try and have it come on nice and straight on this side. Oops. And then this side. Doesn't seem to be centered too well. Oh, that's because the ribbon is folded, right? Yeah. Okay, and on this side. There we go. So your box will be like this. And then you put your lid on. Oh, I want to get the back to the back. If I can find it or feel it. Oh, here we go. And there we go, back and back. This is just a personal thing, I guess. Like so. Now it wants to go down further because there's no card in there right now. But my cell phone is telling me that my battery is getting low. So we're going to tie a bow on the top like so. And I'm not going to fiddle around with getting the right sides and everything together because the battery is low. So I will, if I was doing this for real, I'd fiddle around with everything. But there you go. And you can decorate the lid. You can put pattern paper on the lid, different from the bottom. You can stamp the bottom and stencil the top, or use paste and a stencil on the top. You can just leave it plain, or you can add a bunch of things, like here's some cheesecloth, and you know, you could do something with that, and some flowers and some berries, and so you can really decorate it well. So thanks for joining me, and I